Hey everybody, I'm on the line right now with Taya Valkyrie, who is a mainstay in the Impact Wrestling Knockouts division. And this Thursday at 8 p.m. Pacific, you have an appearance coming up with Lucha VaVoom. It's KCRW's Summer Club. Stay in VaVoom. How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad. I've done a few calls when promoting Lucha VaVoom events. This one's obviously a little bit different with quarantine measures, but it's still a live streaming event. There's going to be Lucha Libre style wrestling, burlesque dancers, comedy. So anyone that's not familiar with Lucha VaVoom, can you just describe what kind of events they are? Because I've seen your name on several of the cards before.
Yeah. Well, Lucha VaVoom is honestly one of the most unique experiences and shows that you would ever see live. As sad as it is that we're not able to, be there live with everybody and in front of fans in our beautiful theater in downtown LA. This is another experience for everyone to be reacquainted with what Lucha VaVoom is, because it really is an experience from all the variety of acts that go on and the cool underground feel of it. It's just really a very different and unique show. And it's just, like you said, incorporating burlesque with lucha libre, with comedy. And there's always surprises. There's always, dancing and singing, and you never know who's going to show up. And I'm just excited that everyone's going to be able to get reacquainted on Thursday, September 3rd, with what Lucha VaVoom is. And it's an opportunity for people that are not from the Los Angeles area to experience Lucha VaVoom on their own. It could be a date night, put those kids to bed because it's rated R, and enjoy the show, from your home.
Yeah, I will point that out. It's not a kids show. It's an adult entertainment show, but it's a good time out. And I think the thing I like most about talking to people about this is everybody gives me a different answer, but it's so different that you can't really put a title on it. Because
there's not one word that you could use to describe what it is. And even for me as a performer, from the first show, I was just like backstage with everyone. I'm like, this is such an eclectic, cool and different vibe, and like such an interesting group of people. And that's really what it is. It's a mishmash of like all this really cool underground entertainment. And it's just unique. And I really hope that sooner than later that we're back, in downtown LA, in front of everybody, in live and in flesh and blood,
Yeah, and at least the benefit of this is people can watch it from home now. Usually that's not the case where it's more of a in-person event, but at least you can kind of get a good vibe of what's going on with these shows.
Yeah, exactly. And like you buy your tickets for, we're getting access to this live stream through Eventbrite. And then it's done by donation. And, I think this is just something that people want to take advantage of. It's something different to entertain you while we're at home. This has been some hard months for everybody across the world, especially in entertainment too. Like we've been feeling it really, really rough. So just take a night and watch Lucha VaVoom.
If you Google Lucha VaVoom and Eventbrite, it comes right up. And like you said, tickets are by donation, so you can, help people out and get a good show while you're doing that.
Exactly. Have a moment away from thinking about coronavirus,
all of the other fun things going on.
Well, just let yourself relax for an evening and watch Lucha VaVoom and have some fun, have some friends over, have a viewing party. I don't know, but obviously with social distancing precautions. But I want everybody to enjoy this show because we've missed all of our fans, and this is just we're glad that this is just a little something we can give to them too.
Speaking of fun, you've been having some really entertaining segments going on Impact for the past few weeks. You've been part of the Wrestle House. It's a different form of entertainment, and
yes,
very quickly, like you've had an interesting journey in wrestling. You're Canadian, made your name in wrestling in Mexico, and then you're a top star for an American company who's also owned by a Canadian company. But
it's a lot. There's a lot.
Yeah, so there's all that. You're known for your in-ring work. You're the longest reigning knockouts champion ever, and then you have this opportunity presented. Not only is it an empty arena show and a taping, but you're also, you're essentially acting on a sitcom. So what's that experience been like? how was it presented to you?
I honestly had, and I believe that every single person that filmed Wrestle House would agree with me, that we had so much fun doing this. I mean, empty arena wrestling is great, but it's only that, you know, and so much about professional wrestling is the crowd interaction and the reactions, you know, between the noises that are happening and the sounds of the ring. And like, you know, there's just so many layers to it. And it's been really rough, like, and, you know, to just not have those fans there. And this is just something else to kind of switch it up. And some people love it and some people absolutely hate it, but it's something different. And I think that it's allowed every single one of the members of Wrestle House the opportunity to thrive for their, you know, have their characters show through and thrive as performance outside of just wrestling. And I have just kind of embraced it and gone with it. And I was like, you know what? All right, here we go. And we're so lucky that we have such a great team of writers and production people that, and, you know, and Jimmy Jacobs, that like really trust us to understand or do our characters the way that we know that they should be. I have so much creative freedom when I am doing things with Taya, and Rosemary and I's chemistry is obviously very obvious, and obviously very obvious. What kind of English is that? Is very obvious to everybody, and it's just been a really fun and different experience. I can't wait to hear what everyone thinks about it.
It was a good match. Like I was thinking this whole time, like, it's a show within a show, and there, you know, it's a comedic presentation, but there's also still the matches. So not only preparing for a match, but having to prepare for all these acting segments.
Yeah, it was crazy. We filmed so much of it in such a short period of time, but we were just there to work, and all of us had been missing working. So when it was presented, we have this much time and we're doing this, all right, here we go, you know, and we all committed to it. And that's what made it so fun to do. And everyone from, you know, behind the scenes, in front of the camera, was committed to making us as great as possible, you know. And it was great to have people like Tommy Dreamer on there, and some of the newer talent mixed in with older talent. Like, it's just a really fun show, and I'm very excited that everyone's liked it, and hopefully we get to do Wrestle House too. I mean,
there is the question of a sequel series, because it ends on a heartwarming note, but it almost looks like wrestling, you know, Wrestle House is over for the time being. So, you know, maybe we'll get another wrestling wedding.
You never know. The amount of possibilities. I always like to think of, especially when Rosemary and I talk about our characters and things like that, like, we always kind of have these, we say it's like on a pick your own adventure book. There's just so many ways that things can play out, and I'm excited by the way that Wrestle House ends, and that you know, and what is to come in the next coming months.
we will wait to see that. But yeah. Now that you guys are back in the impact zone, so to speak, what's your next challenge?
It's hard for me to say very much because we've actually filmed quite a bit, and okay, I don't want to give away any spoilers. But I'm really, really happy with the work that we did post Wrestle House as well, and what's coming in the next coming weeks, because it continues to be fun, entertaining, great matches, and, you know, as always, the knockouts have been killing it week in and week out, and Impact keeps giving us, you know, multiple knockouts matches on a show, and giving us more and more time to shine and be ourselves, and express ourselves creatively. And so I'm just really thankful for that, and I'm excited to see what everyone thinks. Not
only that, but the division's changed quite a bit in recent months. Like, the last time you were in an arena, the roster looked much different. So what are your feelings coming back? Like, you had this assignment with Wrestle House, but then you're coming back into the division, potentially competing against, I think it's like 6 brand new faces. Yeah, the knockouts division has become much bigger over the last few months, quite quickly, because I'm trying to think, the last time we filmed would have been in Las Vegas when we had a crowd. Yeah, it was. I think it aired in March. I always love seeing new talent come in and being given opportunities, and all these girls are so
we're all so different physically. We're all so different in our styles, and we really bring an eclectic, group of people to the TV every week. And I'm just really happy to be part of that and be part of a growing female women's wrestling division that is the Impact, Knockouts. And I hope to see it continue to grow and continue to grow in this positive direction.
You've been in the company about 2 or 3 years now. And when you first debuted, that you had this like Ice Queen persona, I'll call it, and you went through, it was more like street art, and now you're getting into the more Disney inspired looks. We saw like the Captain Hook gear and all that cool stuff, Cruella. How important is it to you personally to reinvent yourself over the course of time in that way? You're not really changing the way you work a match, but visually, how important is that?
It's, as artists, it's so important to evolve. I feel like, and I'm glad you said, like, yeah, my work is the same, and like obviously I'll bring in new stuff from like different things that I've learned and continue to learn, because I'm still training all the time. I'm still trying to become better. And then like when it comes to the way that Taya's presented, like let's say gear wise or entrance gear, it's always just kind of like these inspirational moments or little ideas that I have, and I'm just really happy that I have some seamstresses that accept me for me and all my ridiculous requests that I have. And like the reason I did, for example, like Cruella, was because Cruella DeVille, I'm always wearing fur coats. It just was like a natural fun little different theme for me, because I don't ever really do a lot of that, dressing up like so-and-so or whatever. Even though I've had a lot of jackets. For example, my orange jacket from BFG last year was inspired by a Lady Gaga jacket that she wore on RuPaul's Drag Race like a million years ago. So like I find I have inspiration from different places, but nobody kind of noticed it as much. And then with Cruella, then I was like, oh, well, maybe I'll do like another Disney inspired like villain outfit. I thought Captain Hook was fun because obviously, I'm doing a female inspired like Captain Hook inspired look, but not completely turning into him. Does that make sense? Like it's more not necessarily cosplay. It's more like just inspired by the villainousness of that person. And like we have some things planned for the next pay-per-view that are completely different again. Like it's, I have fun doing this. I have fun thinking about creating visual moments for my fans, visual moments for those people watching at home who, when I come out, you go, aha, I get it. Or maybe you don't, and I have to explain it. I don't know, but it's just, I'm creating moments in time within, my art that I'm doing.
I think that's the perfect way to put it. Like it's an inspiration. It fits you as a wrestler, like your character, and it's not too on the nose. And I think those things work.
Captain Hook wasn't wearing no furry earmuffs. All right, let's just.
Is that sort of the same way you created your clothing line? You're wearing it right now, LOCA, but do those like creative ideas like come to you in that same way, or is it a different process?
It's the clothing line came about because I'm a student. I'm a fashion student. I have been since January, and then the pandemic happened, and I need to be creating or doing something, or I kind of go crazy. And that's pretty much what was happening. I was just like everybody else, was pretty depressed for a little bit. And then I was just like, okay. And I'm still in school, and I'm like trying to study, and I'm like learning about all this stuff that I was originally like I've always planned to want to do a clothing line, but wasn't going to happen for a long time because I just of my schedule. And I only like doing things like that I can do them like 100%. Like I don't like kind of half-assing things. And I wanted to make sure that I was educated on what I was doing and not just like put my name on it. So when everything kind of started happening with pandemic and things shutting down, and I was like, I need to find something. So I decided to go for it, and it's clearly like grown and it continues to grow. And we've had 3 drops so far. It's only been going on since May, so it's pretty nuts to think that. And then right now I'm going to be I'm on the cusp of about to being able to announce all the autumn winter 2020 stuff that is coming out. We're just kind of locking down the date that it'll be available for everybody. And this was like I'm so proud of this stuff that's coming out, specifically because it really was from my drawing. I sketched all the clothes that are coming out and they're coming into fruition. And so it's just been like another, creative process of drawing it and thinking about colors and thinking about what people will like, what people won't like, what I think that I would wear, but know that nobody else would wear. And kind of trying to find that balance, because people still want things that, like I have to be true to myself and my style. So it's just a continuation of an evolution of what LOCA is for me. And I'm excited for everyone. I probably within the next week will be able to have a release date for the newest stuff and be able to start kind of showing what has been going on, because it's been a very long process. It's been a lot of hard work. But I am very, very excited about it. And it is just, another layer of who I am. And it's really fun to see so many people supporting it, and so many of my friends just being 100% on board with it, and everybody, just from the fans to new fans, and people that didn't even know who I was outside of what LOCA even is, and that's thanks to social media and just how much I'm trying to be doing all the marketing myself. I do everything myself. So it's been a lot of work, but it's going to be really cool to see when everything comes out.
Yeah, and I will say congratulations on going back to school. That's obviously important, but I think the thing that you can take away from this is you're creating something, and it's a positive outlet on how to deal with something that everybody else is going through. That, some people might be like, oh, I don't know how to deal with this. Okay, create something.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people started gardening or sewing or like baking, and like you have to do, like, I mean, I think for our own mental health, I've had issues with anxiety and depression and things like that. And this is how my therapy is creating things and like creating moments, like I said, and making art through fashion. And it's just another layer of who I am.
So, all right, everybody, you can check that out on Taya's website. It's tayavalkyrie.com.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll get you out on this. I know it's been teased for a while, but the Iron Sheik massacre, is there an update?
Actually, there is.
Hey.
I actually was looking at some of the special effects clips a few days ago with John. It's almost done. Oh my gosh, so much work too. It's full of visual effects, so this could not have come, quickly. So we still don't know exactly when it'll be released. We really were hoping that it would be this Halloween. That was my goal. And also, with everything that's happened, like we were going to submit it to film festivals, and that's all just a little bit strange right now too. So we're just trying to figure out when the best time for it to be released is, but it looks so cool. So hopefully I'll have some updates on that too. But yeah, that'll probably I'll probably have those updates on social media, and then of course on my website.
All right, cool. Taya Valkyrie, we can check you out this Thursday, 8 p.m. Pacific at Stay in VaVoom every week on Access and Twitch for Impact Wrestling.
Yep.
Thank you very much for your time.
No problem. Thank you.